Hello and welcome back to the another video of UiPath RPA practice project. So in this UiPath practice project, we are focusing on UiPath modern activities, and we have created a dispatcher flow using three different UiPath automation workflows. And we have created a performer flow using three more UiPath automation workflows. We have seen how can we deal with complex selectors in UiPath, and we have seen use of UiPath GenAI activities also. How to set up the ReFramework, and then how to use UiPath Workflow Analyzer. In the last video, we have created the packages and we have created the processes using those UiPath packages. In this video, what we are going to do that we are going to do some changes or the enhancement in one of the UiPath automation workflow, and then we are going to upgrade our package or upgrade our process using the updated package. Upgrade our UiPath process using upgraded UiPath package. And then we will create UiPath triggers in this video. And this is going to be the last video of this UiPath RPA project. Okay, let's start this quickly. So I am on the ReFramework on the project folder. If you are following this project, we have left this data entry file incompleted, right? So if you remember this page, this one, this page, then we are just taking these values from argument and this value from argument. For this value and this value, we have not yet done the development, right? Today we are targeting these two. If you will come here and in the arguments, so what we need now, we need mileage. So first we have to see that when our bot is reading this from queue. So the first step is that bot is reading this from queue. So in our queue, if we check any of the transactions, let's click on any of the transaction which is new and view details. You see the mileage is coming in this format. So we will just take this value so that we can use a hard-coded value for our development. I'll just come here. First thing first, that we have to check, we have to create an argument because this value will be coming from queue. So what will be the best way that when we will get this mileage, we will try to get the first value out of it, 17 here in this value. And when we get 17, so the logic, you might try a better logic. I'm just trying to explain here. So what we will do is we will check with the first digit here. So if our value is greater than the first value here, then we will select that particular range. Okay. If not, then we will just select the last one. That is how we are going to do. So the first thing is that we have to read this value and get the first value. So the mileage start value. Let's create a variable here. Sign. Mileage. We have to compare this. So let's keep this integer. And how we will get that? In mileage dot split, and we can split by hyphen sign, and we can pick the first part 0. I hope you understand UiPath string split functionalities. Okay, so We have to convert this into integer at later stage. So now what I will do is, the second stage is that I need all of these values. So I will loop on every value and I will try to compare. Right. So I will get the first value. Like if I talk about this, I will get 17. I will loop one by one to each of these options. Whichever option is coming, I will select that particular. Right. Little complex logic, that kept this for end. So first we have our first part of mileage start value. Now I will do everything in a sequence. Okay, so that we don't mix the code. Sequence. Select mileage. And now I will paste that part also here inside. Second thing is that we have to extract the value, all the value of this drop down. So understand, it is very important. Sometimes you have to extract all the values of some of the element. And in this case, where we have the child element or similar kind of element, we will use find children activity to extract. So you have to use UiPath find children activities. We have to use UiPath find children activities to extract all the values from a drop down, or to extract all the child values from any element, or all the attributes of any web element. So UiPath find children activity, search for find children activities. So you will get this here. Just drag here. Indicate your element. Okay, so it is basic. It has taken select. And second thing is that which element you want to target. So this select element, it is selecting right now here. If you go, ID is car mileage. Select, right. What we have to do is, if you want to, there is a scope variable. So let's say if you want to just find children's, so it will take only first level of children. If you want to find descendants, so it will take second level, third level, or whichever level children's are there. Okay. So let's say you can see right now only one. Under this also, if there were multiple option, another drop down, and under that there was another expandable menu or drop down. In that case, we will use descendants. But right now, if even if you will use descendants, it will give you the proper value only. So a UI element that you have to find under this, right? So this has become your selector, and this should become your filter. So let's try. Let's see our element. What our element is saying. Inspect. So under descendants, if you want to find, so this is the output. So here in do control A, right, create a variable. We have to filter. Option will come here in filters. So you want to put option. So now we will get all the attributes. We are still not sure that we have used the right value or right way or not. Let's say if we have used right way. Now how will you get understand and how will you get the values out of this, right? So it will return you all the child element, but getting the value of child element is the next step. So for that, what we have to do is we have to use a for each loop. In this for each, we will not be using any other just use this drop down value. So it is basically a collection. So if you will over type, so it is a collection, if you can see here. So we will use same collection. For each element, I need simple for each loop. For each we pass this value from here, drop down values. Under this, so it will return us every element of this value. Is our attribute of this entire list. Of our drop down values is current element. So what I will do is I will try to get attribute. So when we will have the element, we have to get a particular attribute of it. First of all, in get attribute, we must have one element. So element is our current element. Attribute, which attribute we should take? If you see here, we have value. Attribute is value. And I will save the result. Value of down. Save. And then let's print this value of drop down. Message instead of right line, maybe right line. I want to see this in Orchestrator. Let's try to run our flow. With this workflow, so I'll just run it and see if it is able to fetch values or not. It is not typing anything because we have given arguments and those arguments are empty. But main target to see the values. So you can see the value of drop down has come, right? So I will just recap this once again. The first thing is that you have to use a find children activity. In find children activity, you have to indicate the element. When you indicate the element, you have to understand like which tag you have to filter. So web control will be web control. You don't do any changes if you are using web. And then tag you have to put that field name from here, whatever field name is you are trying to fetch. Then which value? So this field there are multiple attributes, right? I have not added class, and you can add align, color, border, many things. But since we have a simple HTML, so we have only one attribute. There might be 10, 15 or 20, whatever number. You have to select only one, that is value. So to get the value, what we have to do is to get the value of any attribute, we have to pass that attribute. And before we pass that attribute, we have to get the attribute, that element, right? So we are trying to get the attribute. So once attribute will come for that element, we want to print the result or the data which is under value, right? That's how we are getting the drop down value. After this, what we have to see is that once we have the value, we have to match these two values, correct? Our this mileage first value with this value. So now we have to get the first drop down value, first value of drop down mileage, right? What is our name here? I just wanted to keep some variation. Mileage start value, drop down start value. So here I will create another variable. I want to keep it integer value from drop down that we are fetching dot split, have to split by using hyphen here 15, and we have to get the first value, right? So now let's see if we are getting the drop down start value and mileage start value. So I will just move this drop down here. This first we will use drop down. So if you want, you can close this part. I have just left it open. If you see, our Q value from the Q is always 17. What logic we will write that if this 17 is greater than this value, then it should immediately select that particular drop down. So that is the logic that we are going to write now. So you can put some more sophisticated logic. I'm just focusing here on the project outline. So I will be putting a simple logic. It might not work in some cases, but what I'm going to do is I'll just put a if condition here. So let me just try to re-explain. So we have the value of the starting value of this drop down, and we will get the starting value of the drop down from the starting value of the mileage from here. So it should be basically kmpl here also. So just modify the template at your end, kmpl, kilometer per liter. Okay. So if this value, that is 17, is greater than the first value here, I am going to select that particular value, that drop down, right? Just a simple logic. So both the values I am getting right now. Let's just add a if condition here. Condition, I have to convert values into integers. The first value is if drop down start, if mileage starts, this value is coming from the queue, is greater than drop down start value. Okay, then we can just go and select this car mileage drop down. Okay, now here, how this will understand, let's have a check. So target, let us see if there is a changing value in the target. Selector, we don't have any changing value. Car mileage is the ID and select is the element, right? But here we have, you can see the item we have hard coded. So this we have to change. So the first value will be changed. Okay, and this value, it can be anything here. So we just put the star here. and kmph we will leave as it is. When you change to kmpl or liter, then you can change here. What I will do is that this value we have to take from variable, right? So go this way. Here we have to add space. You can hit in UiPath, space is the shortcut to get the list of all the variables. Here we can use what? Drop down start value. So drop down start value 1520 will come here. Then star is that will replace any other value at kmph. I think we have matched the format. Yes. There is a space before kmph. So just see that also. And it is there. Let's save it. And let's perform a test with this. Perform a test with this value itself. Save. So I will save something else here. Let me save 10 to 14 and then run this file. It should select something relevant. Is going in the next element now. Into 20. Then we have to just break the loop here because maybe the blank value has come. After we have selected our condition is matched, we don't have to loop to the next one. Let's rename this. Drop if village. So I think drop down start, we have to put this condition this side. That is why unexpected value is selected. So what I want to do is whatever value is coming from the queue, that should be greater than the value that is coming into our element, web element, which is our drop down element. Perfectly now. Save, test. So our value is 17. That is why it has selected that one. Let me try 13, 15 to. Yeah, so it is selecting the right range. Now next thing is that this already we have developed. Now next thing is that we have to select price here. First thing is that I will see how the price is coming in our queue. I'm opening the orchestrator. Go to our queue. In the queue we have 8 items. Go transactions. In view transactions, details. View details. So you see the price is coming a number, right? I think I will just take this value for our development, right? And I will show you how can you use regular expressions in UiPath. I will create an input argument. In price value. in this kind of format. First, we have to take this number out. So engine, we are already typing here in power, and this is after that. So I will keep my sequence here. I will create a new sequence. Price range. So what we will do is we will take the number out from this value, the number, and we will create a array using all of this range. And before that, I have to do one more change. So you see here I have opportunity to split values by hyphen. Here also I have opportunity to split values by hyphen. But here I don't have opportunity to split values by hyphen. Right? I will just similarize the format. 1 second. How we can do that? We just go here, open this HTML page with any editor. I will use simplest notepad here. Notepad, what I will do is all above range. Instead of using anything else, I would like to use hyphen. That's it. I will explain you why I have done this change, because I will be using hyphen for. All right. So just explaining a logic a little bit. So what I will do is I will refresh this page. I will take this value and this value, split, and then check the number. If number is falling in this range, I will select this particular option, and I will pass this range. So, and what I will be doing, I will be creating a selector using the starting number only. Then in the last number, I will put a star. Why I will put a star? That is wildcard. So it, in here you see we don't have any number given, right? That is why I will be using a star, so that it can just understand from the starting point and select that particular value. You can apply better logic than this. I am not claiming on that, but let's start working now. First is that we have to take this out. So let's use regular expression. How to use regular expression? So we have an activity called match and matches. Find matching patterns. So once we have this find pattern, there are three things that we have to give. Two things that we have to give, and it will return us one match. First, what we have to give is we have to give the text value. So what is getting our text from you? That is, in which text we have to search in price value, right? This is our value, correct? But get the pattern. The second thing is that we, in regular expression, we have to give pattern, right? Learn the pattern. What we can do is, so just copy this value from here, Q. I will make use of ChatGPT. Rejects pattern to get number one from the value. Just copy this number part, paste here. I want to get the number from this, that regular expression I need, right? So this pattern I will use, copy, paste here in the pattern part of find matching patterns value in UiPath. So we are just focusing like how can we use regular expressions in UiPath in our project, right? Now, when you have this pattern and you have the input value, the text value in which it has to search for that particular pattern. So there are possibilities that you will get multiple results. If you are getting multiple results, all those results for, and if you want to work on them, then create a variable here, click here in, and the shortcut in UiPath to create variable is Control K. So it will give, but now we need only one match. The first match we need. I will go here and I will hit Control K. I will, the first match price, right? This variable name. Once I have this first match variable price, I would like to print it. Log message I am using, you can use a write line also. So price value. What is our price value? Price, right? Once we get this price, so let's see if are we getting right value or not. What is our argument value here? Yes, so we should be able to get right value. Just save, test. The UiPath bot is triggering now. Let's see the output. You can see the price value is coming as we need, right? Once we have the price value, next thing is that we should, I'll just close this. We should have all of these values into something, right? So what I have just explained to the logic. So what we will do is create a array variable. Array price ranges. This array we want to keep string type. So first select array, then you will get this pop-up in UiPath, and then select type. So I want a string type of array, right? So I have created the variable. This is how you create a array variable in a UiPath. And how will you create a new array in UiPath with default values? No, I want a string type. Mouse again, string. Okay. So new string, and then want to use class, then 3 to 7 is our first range, comma, second value is 7 to 10, 7 to 10, third value is 10 to, we are taking strings, so 10 to 15, and fourth value I will be using numerical number. I have to split these numbers and decide on start and end range. So I will be using 15 to 200, right? You will understand like why I have taken 200 sometime. When we have this array, what we have to do is that we have to loop on this, and while we are looping, we just have to see where if the number is falling in between this range. So for this one, we will select the value based on the first number itself, 3, 7, 10, 15. Why? Because in the second one, the last value, if we want to come in the selector also, we want to keep the second value. In the last one, we will not have any defined value, and selector will not match. So we will use wildcard there. Okay, you will understand what I'm saying in few minutes. Let's make use of one of the UiPath for loop. for loop for each, simple for each. We will take our array of price ranges, and you will get see that it will automatically create items. So each item of this array will be considered as a current text. Which are our items? These are our items 3 to 7, 7 to 10, right? What I have to do first thing is that I have to take this 3 and this 7 in a different variable, right? You have already seen the split method. What I will do is I will take multiple assign. I will take here first range, and first range will I will take current text whichever is coming dot. I will split current text by hyphen. How you split value in UiPath? Want to see it in editor? You can see it here. After split by some character, and then we have to pick the left part, that is 0. So whenever we split, the entire string will be divided into the collection. Then we can refer the collection 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 index. Then to string, even though it is not required. We have to add one more last range. Right, and current text dot split by hyphen. Now this time we need right hand side number, so it will be 1. Want to see it in the editor? Here it is. Now I would like to change the names because I find start range and end range, or maybe minimum range and maximum in range, right? This will be better, and it will be automatically changed here. Right, so our minimum range is on the left hand side, maximum is on the right hand side. Now next that we have to use a if condition here. Body or price all right, and this body take if condition. What is this if condition? If price in range. So how can we do that? Open the editor, click here and open this condition in editor. See int our price is coming in first match, right? First match price, and this price which is coming should be greater than and or equals to the minimum range, right? So see int minimum range, and also is a condition in UiPath, is a logical expression in UiPath, and also see int first price match. So first price match is our 13.99 lakh, right? You remember? and it should be greater than lesser than the max value, right? Max range. This also will come in scene because all the values we have taken in string max range, right? So once this value is satisfied, that we have the value that is in 10 and 7, 15 and 20, and 15 to 200. So above is 200, our last range. So the break should, the it should click the right element. So where it is here. So if we check the selector right now, which selector we are using? Targeting method is strip selector. Where is our strip selector? Is there. So if you see, there is no numerical number. We are not using any numerical number. We have to find out some way that we can identify the element by this value. Now what I will do is, I will just close this. I will go to our UI Explorer. And in our UI Explorer, I will just go and click here. So you see the number is coming, right? So I will make use of this now. Just focus on this pattern, last pattern and this pattern. Okay. And I will go to this element. So I want to use a wildcard here in the second one. So anything that is coming after hyphen, it should be accepted in the selector pattern. Understand? Selector can work on pattern also, right? Like this. But this number should be proper value. Remember the space. So for a space, you give a star. And then here you use your variable. Which variable? First, minimum range, right? Minimum range. Why you are using minimum range? Because from here, you see 3, minimum range is 3 here in this set. In this set, minimum range is 7, 10. It will match the pattern. You will use only minimum range, and this set you are using a star. So any value that is coming this set is not a problem, but it should start from that particular number. I hope you are able to make what I am saying. Once this match is found and this element is clicked, we don't have to go in the next loop. So just break our loop. All right. Now let's test this. It is working as expected, or we have to do. So this time, 13.33 lakh is coming, right? Let's see. It should select third option as per the logic, because it will become 14. Yeah, so it is correct. I will change this to 9 or 8. Now let's see. Yeah, so it is selecting right value. So our logic is working properly, right? So we are able to select this. We are able to select this also. Our project is, our development is completed. We can just save this. Okay. And yeah, so now we have update our workflow here. After updating the workflow, what we have to do is that this workflow is already part of ReFramework. Correct? I am back to the RE framework. All right, so let's go back to the RE framework. So this workflow is already part of RE framework. We have run a successful implementation last time, the last video. Now we have done updates, right? So what is the scope of this video? That we have to update the workflow, and then we have to see that those updates are working or not, and how to apply those updates into your package, how to send these updates into your currently running bots, right? If you have modified some code. So that is the agenda of this video. Plus we will create triggers also in the end of the video. We have done the update. Now let's go to the workflow, which is that workflow data entry. So if you will see data entry, it is showing that arguments mismatch. Click here, two more arguments should come. Save import arguments, click 5, it has become. Click here. Now you have to specify like which values you want in mileage, which values you want to give price. So simply if you want, you can just transaction item dot specific content. Then you can give the field value. Mileage is the label. Dot to string you have to use. And here price is the label. If you remember that you have already created few variables here, so price is already taken. If you want to use that variable directly, variable also. I will use this SPC variable. If you are following the project, you will understand what I am trying to say. So we have already taken these values in one of the multiple assign activities, and then we are making use of those variables. Once you have seen how can you directly get the value from transaction item, once two variable, two arguments and SPC price. Save. Okay, so now what we will do is from here we will publish this. So from RE framework, we will publish this workflow once again. Here we go. Package is coming, latest package is 1.3. If you want, you can give it note, added further logic for price and mileage section on data entry publish. Is ready. Now what we have to do is, if we will go in Orchestrator, and how can we apply this update into our currently running process? We go to automations process. If you see, the performer process is showing a upgrade sign, right? So updates are available. So if you will click this sign, you come here, upgrade to the latest version, right? Just click this. It will ask you to confirm, and it will be automatically confirmed. So it is now upgraded to 1.03 that we have just published. If you want, you can run it, because we still have 8 items in the queue. These 8 items we can make use. Just come to automation. I am this time running directly from here. So just start the job, select one user. This all we have already seen in the last video. Select any machine. that is available. Start. So now UiPath bot will get triggered when you will see green sign on bottom. So you can see it has started working here. So you see the 15 and above is selected because price might be more than 15. Okay, in the price range. The customer rating logic, I will leave you to work upon you yourself. Some experiment and start selecting that. So our changes are working fine. All right. You can see the car mileage now change. Now it has selected the different range of price, right? So that is clear indication that this is how you upgrade your values. Now what I will do is I will stop this bot. I will send the stop command, and I have explained what is the difference between stop command, kill command in last video. And what we will do now is that we will create triggers, right? We will see what are the triggers. So triggers are basically when you have to perform or you have to use same automation or same bot multiple times. That time you use jobs and you create triggers, right? So I will, so my browser is closed because end process will close all the applications. So that is why we keep automations on separate systems. I will open Chrome again. I have to log in Orchestrator one. Okay, now you come orchestrations trigger. So I will create trigger for performer, for give any name, performer 2 times a day. Okay, any name you can give. You have to select a process now. Performer 1.2 is our process name. So package name is different, process name is different. Process name is the label name. Package is used when we are creating the process. Right? So latest package we have already defined. Run type also you can select. You can check advanced options, but I will use hourly ones here. I repeat every 4 hours, for example, and I will just, you can apply many logics here, but this will remain same. Note the timing you have to check which time zone you want to consider. Okay, I will consider now India time. Delhi you type and you will get it. Delhi, Mumbai. I will just create this trigger. It is so simple, right? It will run after 3 hours, but let's say if you want to run it now, performer, if you want to run, just click start job, start the job, and then you have to select this machine same way. So it will route in the same way, right? And then start. If you will not do it yourself after 3 hours, it will be automatically done. I have to do this here because I wanted to show you. So don't worry, and it is starting once again from remaining few items. So I hope you enjoyed this entire project and you have learned a lot, I am sure. Now this project is considered completed. If you think anything is left over, you can think in the comment and it will be a, right. So the bot is working. You can see it here, and I will just see one more time and then I will stop it, and I will leave this to you to do further research on this.